going to discuss about the lesson 2, which is the physical education and health in an activity and child-centered curriculum. Our objectives for today's lesson: number 1, define curriculum; number 2, give the similarities and differences between an activity-centered and child-centered curriculum; number 3, differentiate the traditional curriculum from the progressive curriculum; and number 4, justify how teaching physical education and health will be more effective using a physical education and health activity and child-centered curriculum; and lastly, state how elementary pupils benefit from physical education and health in an activity and child-centered curriculum. Since we are going to discuss about curriculum, it is important for us to know the history first of the word curriculum, or we must define first the word curriculum. Curriculum is a Latin word that means race. It is derived from the verb currere, which means to fly or to proceed. So sa pinanggalingan pa lang ng salitang curriculum, we can identify na ginawa talaga siya to improve the academic experiences of the students. So what we know curriculum is a material taught in a school. So ang curriculum ay dito nakabase yung mga itinuturo ng mga teachers sa isang paaralan. It is a list of principles that should be taught to the pupils for them to follow the content requirements. So hindi lang basta-basta gumagawa ng itinuturo nila yung mga teachers, kundi nakabase ito sa sinasabi nating curriculum. The curriculum is described in education as the aggregate of all the pupils' experiences that occur during the educational process. It also refers to a structured and interactive method of instruction and learning with unique goals, content, methods, metrics, and resources aligned with the school's instructional objectives. During 1939, the curriculum was based only on the 19th century tradition of organized knowledge taught in a classroom. So sa pagdaan ng panahon, the definition of the curriculum has evolved kung saan nag-include na dito yung variety of modes of thinking and experiences. So sinasabi na without the curriculum, no formal or non-formal or informal education can occur. So walang mag-e-exist na formal or non-formal education kung wala si curriculum. There will be no instruction in the classroom. So alam naman natin na pag walang instruction sa isang classroom, magiging magulo ito, or the environment of learning will not be appropriate for the pupils. If there is no program, teachers will have nothing to do. The teaching career revolves around the curriculum. In the classroom and schools, every teacher is led by a curriculum. So, ang pagkatuto ng mga bata at ang pagtuturo ng mga teacher ay nakabase din sa curriculum. Kung kaya't napaka-importante ng curriculum sa isang paaralan. Now, after learning some brief history about the curriculum, we can now proceed to our main topic, which is defining activity and child-centered curriculum. So, aalamin na natin kung ano ba yung sinasabing activity and child-centered curriculum. Just earlier, we've mentioned that throughout the years, naiba na yung traditional na curriculum kung saan may mga naidagdag na rito. And isa na dito ang activity-centered curriculum. Ang activity-centered curriculum is a modern approach to curriculum creation. It is a reaction to the conventional curriculum, which was either subject-centered or dominated by teachers. So pag sinabi natin subject-centered or dominated by teachers, nakafocus lang yung pagtuturo ni teacher doon sa subject na sakop niya. And ang nasusunod dito is si teachers. Other term for this is the spoon feeding. The idea of activity-centered learning was born out of the child-centered education and activity movement. So pag sinabi naman natin child-centered education, this one necessitates the child's active participation in the educational process. The child-centered education, Rousseau, Dewey, Gandhi, and Pestalozzi, among other modern educationalists, realized that schooling that does not affect a child's actions is useless. The subject matter is addressed by exercises in an activity-centered program and experience is the product of the purposeful activities completed. Knowledge is imparted, skills are taught, and attitudes are developed through activity. So yung mga nabanggit natin na educationalists, they believe that children learn by doing. So mas natututo daw yung mga bata kapag sila mismo yung gumagawa or nai-experience mismo nila yung mga activities sa classroom. According to John Dewey, the activity curriculum is a constant flow of activities for children, unbreakable by systematic subjects and springing from the child's desires and felt needs. According naman sa framers ni Warde Scheme of Education, we've attempted to draft an activity curriculum that means that our schools should be places of work, creativity, and exploration rather than just passive absorption. Meanwhile, according to Comenius' view, anything that need to be learned must be learned by practice or doing. On Ross's view, instead of pressuring the child to concentrate on his books, I keep him occupied in the workshops where his hands will support his mind. On Pestalozzi's view, the verbal message of instruction does not suit the child's ability or the circumstances of his or her life. All other educationalists and psychologists such as John Dewey, Piaget, Tagore, Gandhi, and Aurobindo have emphasized the importance of learning through doing. Because of the importance of the activity theory, numerous modern teaching approaches such as the project approach, Dalton plan, and problem-solving method have emerged. Na kung mapapansin natin, diba, sa mga kabataan ngayon, mas engaged na sila sa paggamit ng mga gadgets. No, it is very important, or physical education and health is very important para matulungan natin yung mga kabataan na mailayo sila sa paggamit ng mga gadgets and ma-exercise yung mga katawan nila. The concept of learning by doing, nagkakaroon ng chance yung mga bata na ma-discover yung mga talents or yung mga skills na mayroon sila. On the other hand, na-exercise sila sa mga activity na ginagawa nila sa loob ng classroom instead of just learning through passive learning. So let's define more about the child-centered curriculum. In curriculum studies, a child-centered curriculum is a core and controversial term. Dito na napapasok yung learning by doing, and in here, learners are the contributors of knowledge. They interact and collaborate. The child-centered curriculum is related to John Dewey's progressive educational views. Dewey advocated for a more comprehensive, multidisciplinary, and developmental approach to education. Pupils' intense urges to explore, create, and understand their universe, he claims, will be the fundamental centers of gravity that will energize and selectively incorporate curricular concepts. Ang child-centered curriculum ay ginawa para ma-develop ng mga pupils ang kanilang individual and social attributes rather than providing abstract knowledge through the specified subject matter. So dito ang role ni teacher sa child-centered curriculum is to encourage and promote children's learning. But it is the children's natural curiosity, interest, and enthusiasm that decide the course of their learning. Kasi yung mga batang yan, hindi mo yan mapipilit kung ano yung ipapasok or ituturo mo or dapat nilang matutunan. It is on their own interest kung ano yung gusto nilang matutunan. Kung kaya't napaka-importante ng child-centered curriculum. Also, in the child-centered curriculum, mga children dito or mga pupils dito, they serve as the co-creators with the teachers in terms of achieving learning objectives and goals. A child-centered curriculum emphasizes piquing children's interest and empowering them to take an active role in learning, as well as encouraging emotional investment that allows them to dig deeper into the lessons. So dahil sa child-centered curriculum, nabubuhay yung curiosity ng mga teachers and eagerness to learn more about their topic. Through the help of child-centered curriculum, mas na-address dito yung needs ng students on all levels of social, cognitive, emotional, and physical development. After digging deeper into the meaning of child-centered curriculum, now, alamin naman natin kung paano ba na-interact or na-connect si child-centered curriculum and activity-centered curriculum in physical education. The physical education and health curriculum aims to assist children in developing awareness and understanding of his or her body. The curriculum for elementary pupils is designed for them to be exposed to a local or small environment and then symbolically bring them to target environments. Itong curriculum na ito ay naglalayon na magbigay ng positive attitudes toward physical education and health para sa mga bata for them to be motivated and para ma-appreciate nila yung physical education and health na kung saan nagkakaroon ito ng malaking impluwensya sa kanilang mga pangangatawan. In education or in objectives, there are 3 domains, diba? Yung cognitive, affective, and psychomotor that are emphasized in each lesson, which is greatly emphasized in elementary education, especially in primary schools. Because in primary school, pupils are usually more physically active than high school students because they learn through play and they understand the world first through their bodies. Teachers must give activities that are more on movements in which the pupils will be engaged with their creativity, muscles, and collaboration. So this is proven and tested since I am a volunteer aerobic teacher in our place here in Barangay Trans. So, na-experience ko na magturo ng mga batang maliliit. So, yung sinabi ko earlier is very true because ang mga bata, they always ask draw to play. Yun yung madalas nilang tinatanong. They also want to sing. So, di ba, proven talaga na students or elementary students, especially yung mga maliliit, they learn through physical activities. So we as future teachers, we can engage the pupils with the following activities. First is the music and movement. In this activity, the pupils will move their body according to the beat, words, tune, speed, and other elements used in a particular music or song. So, in other words, we can call this as dancing. Next is the luksong baka. This traditional game from Bulacan helps pupils practice how to jump high without experiencing injuries. Pupils will also learn different skills such as balance and cooperation, and they could develop self-confidence when they successfully execute the task. Nagkakaroon sila ng collaboration and teamwork in this kind of activity. Next is the patintero. This activity is also called haranggang taga or tupikan. This activity requires pupils to move all body parts. Other pupils will run across the area while others are tagging the pupils that are running. Aside from moving the body, the pupils will practice their thinking abilities by means of thinking of the best strategy to cross the taggers in the area. Next is the tug of war. This activity will measure the strength of each participating players. 2 groups of players will pull on opposite ends of a rope with the goal of moving the opposite groups across the line. The group that touches the line in the middle will be the losing team. Next is the hopscotch or pico. This activity is very famous among young children. The activity requires physical strength and a lot of jumping. Groups of pupils will play the game and compete with each other. Each player needs to have a stone that should be thrown in each box. The player will jump across without stepping on the first box. The player who will reach the last box will be considered as winner.